For years, people asked the same question. Could Conor McGregor become the first man to truly expose Khabib Nurmagomedov? Conor had predicted knockouts before, and he delivered. He had dismantled champions with timing, precision, and one devastating left hand. But this night felt different. Khabib wasn't trying to win a striking battle. He wasn't looking for a highlight knockout. He came to take away something far more important: Conor's confidence. And within minutes, it became clear that McGregor wasn't fighting the man he had prepared for. He was fighting someone who already knew exactly how this story would end. In October of 2018, the UFC wasn't promoting a fight. It was promoting a collision. On one side stood Conor McGregor, the biggest star mixed martial arts had ever seen. A former two-division champion who had built his career on confidence, precision, and the ability to predict exactly how his opponents would fall. On the other side was Khabib Nurmagomedov, undefeated, relentless. A champion who had spent his entire career breaking fighters mentally long before he broke them physically. But this rivalry had become deeply personal. Months of insults, press conferences filled with hatred, the infamous bus attack in Brooklyn, and endless promises from Conor that he would knock Khabib out within 2 rounds. By fight night, the atmosphere inside the arena felt different. This wasn't just about a championship belt anymore. Millions of fans believed they were about to witness the moment one man's confidence finally collided with another man's discipline. By the time the cage door closed, almost everyone had a prediction. Conor McGregor was considered the more dangerous fighter. Analysts praised his timing. Former champions talked about his precision. Fans believed that if anyone could stop Khabib's relentless pressure, it was Conor's left hand. The common opinion was simple. Khabib would eventually shoot for a takedown. Conor would make him pay. One clean counter, one perfectly timed uppercut, one mistake from Khabib, and the fight could be over. People had seen McGregor dismantle elite fighters before. Jose Aldo lasted 13 seconds. Eddie Alvarez looked completely lost. Many expected another masterpiece. They believed Khabib only needed one bad entry, and Conor only needed one perfect shot. The fight had barely begun, but something already felt wrong. Conor wasn't moving like himself. Instead of controlling the center and forcing Khabib to react, he was immediately pushed backward. Khabib wasn't rushing. He wasn't swinging wildly. He simply kept walking forward, step by step, cutting off angles, taking away space. Every time Conor tried to circle out, Khabib was already there. And for the first time in years, McGregor looked uncomfortable inside the octagon. The striking exchanges weren't dramatic, but they revealed something important. Conor wasn't thinking about combinations. He wasn't thinking about counters. He was thinking about the takedown. Every feint from Khabib forced a reaction. Every level change made Conor hesitate. And slowly, almost unnoticed, the fight started taking place exactly where Khabib wanted it. Not in the center, not at long range, but near the fence, where pressure becomes exhausting and confidence starts to disappear. Round 2 changed everything. People expected Khabib to wrestle. What nobody expected was Khabib dropping Conor with a punch. As McGregor prepared for another takedown attempt, Khabib suddenly stepped in and launched a looping overhand right. It landed clean. Conor stumbled backward. For just a moment, the most dangerous striker in UFC history looked completely surprised. And that punch wasn't meant to finish the fight. It was meant to create doubt. Now Conor had another problem to think about. He couldn't focus only on defending takedowns anymore. He had to respect Khabib's hands. Seconds later, Khabib changed levels and shot in again. This time, Conor reacted a fraction too late. The takedown was effortless. And once the fight hit the canvas, Khabib took over. He wasn't chasing submissions. He wasn't wasting energy. He slowed the pace down, pinned Conor against the fence, forced him to carry his weight, and drained his gas tank minute after minute. By the end of the round, McGregor wasn't trying to win exchanges anymore. He was simply trying to survive them. Then came the third round, and for the first time all night, Conor finally looked comfortable. The pressure was still there, but Khabib's pace had slowed. McGregor started finding his timing. His jab became sharper, his footwork looked lighter, and he was finally able to fight at the distance he had wanted from the very beginning. Some of his shots found the target, others forced Khabib to reset. It wasn't domination, but it was enough to make people believe. Maybe the tide was turning. Maybe Khabib had emptied his gas tank. Maybe Conor was setting up one final counter. For a brief moment, the comeback felt possible. But Khabib wasn't losing control. He was recovering, waiting, preparing to push the pace one last time. But whatever hope Conor had created in the third round disappeared almost immediately. Khabib walked forward again. No hesitation, no frustration, no signs of fatigue. It was as if the previous round had never happened. McGregor tried to circle away. He looked for space. He searched for the center of the cage. But Khabib refused to let him breathe. Every step forced Conor backward. Every feint demanded a reaction. And every second spent defending was another second draining his energy. Then Khabib attacked. Another level change. Another takedown attempt. And this time, Conor's defense finally started to break. Khabib climbed onto his back with incredible patience. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't chasing damage. He was waiting for a mistake. And eventually, it came. As McGregor tried to stand and escape the position, he exposed his neck. That was all Khabib needed. Within seconds, his arm slipped underneath Conor's chin. The grip tightened. McGregor fought the hands. He twisted. He resisted. But there was nowhere left to go. After nearly 4 rounds of pressure, wrestling, and constant mental exhaustion, the fight was finally over. As soon as the referee stepped in, the arena exploded. Khabib released the choke and stood up without celebrating. There was no smile, no raised arms, no moment of triumph. For him, this wasn't just another title defense. It was personal. Months of insults, attacks on his family, attacks on his father, promises that he would be humiliated in front of the world. And now, there was nothing left to say. Conor sat against the fence, exhausted and defeated. The confidence that had defined his entire career was gone. Meanwhile, Khabib had done something nobody else had ever managed to do. He didn't simply beat Conor McGregor. He took away his greatest weapon, the belief that he could break anyone standing across from him. And as the crowd tried to process what they had just witnessed, one thing had become impossible to deny. Khabib Nurmagomedov was exactly who he always claimed to be: undefeated, unbreakable, and undisputed. Khabib's victory over Conor McGregor was more than just another championship win. It changed the way people looked at both fighters. Before UFC 229, McGregor felt untouchable. He had become the biggest star the sport had ever produced. Fans believed his confidence was limitless, that his words could break opponents before the fight even started. But Khabib proved something different. Confidence alone wasn't enough. Precision wasn't enough. Even power wasn't enough. Because Khabib wasn't fighting for fame. He wasn't fighting for money. He was fighting for his family, for his father, for his country, and for the values he had carried with him since childhood. That night, his record improved to 27 wins and no losses. But more importantly, he accomplished something nobody else had managed to do.